Hi guys, welcome back. In this video, I'll be explaining how you can multiply surds together. In the previous videos, I made mention that if you want to add or subtract an expression in surds together, then you have to ensure that what you are going to add or what you are going to subtract are the same terms. What I mean by the same term is that each of the numbers you want to add or subtract, each number inside the radical are what? Are equal. You understand? As for example, when you have root 2 plus root 3, so it is not equal to what? It is not equal to root 5. Rather, so when you have root 2 plus 3 root 2, you can see they are having the same term here. Then you are going to assume that this is what? So 4 root 2. That is like you're having 1 pen plus 3 pen. You are going to have what? 4 root 2. So you are going to have 4 root 2. So if that is cleared, how do you now multiply surds together? To multiply surds together is not difficult. So first thing to do is to what? Is to see whether you can simplify that surd into what? Into its simplest form. Then after you've simplified into its simplest form, then you are going to do the grouping. So by grouping, I mean you are going to multiply numbers with numbers and radicals with radicals. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have something of this nature. Example 1. So the question says root 18 multiplied by root 32. How to do this is not difficult. So what you have to do is to see whether you can simplify this further into its simplest form. And you can see we can do that since we have root 18 multiplied by root 32. How do we simplify? How do we express in its simplest form? Check the number inside the radical and express it as its product of its prime, as its product of its factor. Where one of these factor is what? Is a perfect square. So then I'm going to have what? If you do this, 18 in this sense will give me what? 9 times 2. Indeed, 9 is a perfect square. So then I'm going to have what? Root 9 times 2 multiplied by, then this one as well, root 16 times 2. You understand now? Then you can break it after that. That's going to give you root 9 multiplied by root 2 multiplied by root 16 multiplied by root 2. You understand now? Don't forget, the square root of 2 will give me what? So square root of 2 will give me 3, right? Then I'm going to have 3 root 2 multiplied by root 16 is 4, right? 4 root 2. So after you've done with this, if you now want to multiply surds together, then you have to group them. You multiply numbers with numbers, radicals with radicals. So these are the numbers, 3 and 3. And your radical is what? Root 2 and root 2. So 3 times 4, that's going to give me 12. Root 2 multiplied by root 2, that is what? What is root 2 times root 2? With the example I gave. So recall from your law, root A multiplied by root A will give me A. So likewise, root 2 multiplied by root 2 will give me 2. So that is going to give me what? 24. You understand? And that's going to give me 24. Don't be confused. Even root Gafari multiplied by root Gafari will give you Gafari. Root Hafsa multiplied by root Hafsa will give you Hafsa. Root 100 multiplied by root 100 will give you 100. I hope you understand now. So, okay, now let us do another example if that is clear. Example, I have root 2 multiplied by root 108. Perhaps if we want to simplify this, multiply by root 20 multiply by root 8. So how do you do this? See whether you can simplify them further, to express them in their simplest form, and after that, we group them together. So okay, let's see that is that possible. This one will give me what? Root 2, then multiply by, you can express this 108 as product of its two factor, where one of the factor is a perfect square. I think 4 can go here. 4 in 108, I think it's 27. So then you have root 4 multiplied by root 27 multiplied by root 4 times root 5. I hope you understand how I have that. Then multiply by root 4 times root 2, because 4 times 2 is going to give me 8. So then if I simplify further, then I have root 2 multiply by 2 root 27. Is that okay? Then multiply by 2 root 5 multiply by 2 root 2. You understand now? So multiply by 2 root 2. Okay, so let's see, can we simplify this further? Is it possible? I think it is. But before you do that, let us combine them together. And if you want to group, so root with root, radical with radical, yes, numbers with numbers. So this is, if you combine these numbers together, this 1 times 2, that is 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2, 8. Then you are going to have 8. Okay, now what of those inside the radical? That's going to give you what? 2 times 27 times 5 times 2. You understand now? So then I'm going to have 8 multiplied by, so this is going to give me 2 times 27. And in fact, these two guys can cancel each other. So this will give me 54 multiplied by root 10 multiplied by 10. So I think that is 540. Yeah, that is 540. 8 root 540. You understand now? I'm thinking if we can simplify it further. Do we have any number here such that it's one of the perfect square? So let's see. I think if I divide it by 4, or let's say, yeah, if I divide it by 4, this is same thing as 135 times 4. You understand? 135 times 4. I want to see, although you can leave your answer here, but I'm thinking maybe they don't put the answer in simplest form. So, but this one can give you 8 135 times root 4. That will give you 2, right? So which is 16 root 135. Let's see, can we simplify this further again? So what are the factors of 135? Likewise, I can say this is what? This 8 times. So I think 135 can go in 9. So then I can say 15 times 9. 15 times 9 will give me 135, right? So which is same thing as 8 multiplied by root 15 multiplied by root 9. So recall that this will give you root 8 times root 15 times 3. That will also give you 24 root 15. You can see we've simplified to the simplest form now. To a simplest form now. So because there is no way you can just leave your answer like this, because if you find the factors of 2 factors of 15 you are going to multiply together, they are 5 and 3, so you can still not break them. So I think you can leave your answer like this. So generally what you have to consider here is that if you are multiplying them together, then you have to do the grouping. You multiply numbers with number, surd with surd. So if that is clear, let us move to division of what? Division of surd. How do you divide 2 surds together? So to divide 2 surds together, it is not difficult to do. First thing to do is to what? Is to see whether you are going to express, or whether you can express in its simplest form. So then after you do that, then you now check the denominator. So if your denominator has a surd, so then you have to rationalize it. You know, if it has a surd, that is what you have at the denominator is an irrational number, then you have to rationalize it. And to rationalize it means to eliminate, the surd in the denominator. And how do you do that? So recall that if I have root A, you know root A is a surd. If I want to eliminate this surd from A, what I have to do is I can multiply by what? By root A again. Since root A multiplied by A is going to give me what? It's going to give me A. So if that is clear, let me just give you an example to see what I want to do. Example, I have the question says simplify number 1 3 divided by root 5, number 2 5 root 2 divided by 2 root 5. So that is not difficult to do. Solution. Number 1, I have 3 root 5. You know 3 root 5 will give you what? So, you know, you can simplify it further, but what you have to do is to what? Is to get rid of this radical at the denominator. And to get rid of it means you have to rationalize. And how do you rationalize? How do you take away what? This radical from 5 is to multiply by root 5 itself. Since when you multiply root A by root A, you are going to have root A. When you multiply something inside the radical by that something inside the radical, you are going to get that thing again. So then I'm going to have 3 root 5 multiplied by root 5 divided by root 5. What you do for the numerator, you have to do it for the denominator. And even root 5 divided by root 5 is 1. It's as if you don't do anything to it. So then I'm going to have 3 root 5. And what are you going to have? Root 5 times root 5 from this law. That's going to give you 5. I hope you understand. So it means your result is going to give you 3 root 5 divided by 5. Okay, the second example, I have 3 root 2 divided by 2 root 5. That's not difficult to do. See, can we express this in its simplest form? It's already in its simplest form. But you have to rationalize this denominator. You get rid of this radical. How do you do that? You multiply it by this number. You know, what we can use to get rid of the radical is to what? So, is to multiply by that number inside the radical again. So then this one is going to give you 3 root 2 divided by 2 root 5 multiply by what? Root 5 root 5. What you do for Taiwo, you must also do it to Kende. What you do for numerator, you must also do it for the denominator. I hope you understand now. So then after this, you can multiply together. So numbers with numbers, don't forget, if you want to multiply, you have to group numbers with number, radical with radical. So this is going to give you 3 times 1, 3, root 2 times root 5, that is root 10, divided by, so 2 times 1, 2, then multiply by root 5 times root 5. Root 5 times root 5 will give me 5. I hope you understand from that law. So that's going to give you 3 root 10 divided by 10. You can see it is simple, it is very difficult. So before I give you another example, let me ask you a question. Can you only rationalize the denominator? So although if you want to solve this and you have, a surd that you have a surd in the denominator, you have to rationalize by multiplying it by what? By that surd. The numerator and denominator by that surd. But let's say you are not doing something like surd, or you just want to get rid of this. The radical, the numerator. You can as well multiply by the same surd as well. You understand? What I'm trying to say in essence is that it is not only, you understand, it's not only denominator we can rationalize. At times, maybe when you are doing some other simplification in mathematics, so you can apply that. If need be to what? To get rid of the denominator, the surd and the numerator. So if that is clear, let me give you one more example. I think this, a WAEC question. Example, the question says, express root 32 plus 6 divided by root 2 as a single surd, and hence find the value of 7 root 2 root 32 plus 6 root 2. You understand now? So that is not difficult to do. Okay, let's do that together. So the first question says express root 32 plus 6 divided by root 2. So, okay, let us do this. You know, this first thing we have to do, is to just see if we can express this in its simplest form. So, you know, if you express 32 as product with two factors, so where one of the factors is what? Is a perfect square, then I'm going to have what? Root 16 multiplied by 2. Is that taken? Then plus 6 divided by root 2. That's going to give me 16 multiplied by root 2 plus 6 divided by root 2. So, and what is root 16? That's going to give you 4 root 2 plus 6 divided by root 2. You understand now? So you can do this in different ways. The first method you can do is to what? You can find the LCM straight away, or you can just rationalize this second side. You are going to arrive at the same answer. Okay, let's say if we find the LCM, this is root 2. You know, the same thing as 1. So 1 in root 2, that is root 2. Root 2 times 4. That's going to give you 4 multiplied by root 2 multiplied by root 2. Then plus root 2 in root 2, that is 1. 1 times 6, that will give you 6. I hope you understand now. So if you simplify it further, so root 2 multiplied by root 2 will give you 2. 2 times 4. 2 times 4 will give me what? 8. I hope you understand now. So 8 plus 6 divided by root 2. And 8 plus 6 divided by root 2 will give me what? 14 divided by root 2. If you like, you can rationalize the denominator. So you know that will give me what? 14 root 2 multiplied by root 2 multiplied by root 2. Like I've explained in the last example. So, and this will now give me 14 root 2 divided by 2 root 2 times 2 root 2. Root 8 times root 8 is 8. So this will give you 2. So, and this guy will cancel this. 2 here, 1, 2 in 14, that is 7. Then you have 7 root 2. So you have 7 root 2 as that. And the question now say, hence, find the value of what? So that is immediately after doing that, find the values of what? 7 divided by root 2 multiplied by root 32 plus 6 divided by root 2. And we found the value of this guy. You understand now? We know that this guy gives what? So this guy gives 7 root 2. So then you can just make your substitution. So if you do the substitution, then this is going to give me what? 7 root 2. 7 divided by root 2 multiplied by 7 divided by 7 root 2. You see that this guy cancels this. What do you have left? 7 times 7. That is 49. So that is 49. You can see it is not difficult to do. So that's how you are going to multiply and divide surds. To multiply surds, just group them together, numbers with numbers and radical with radicals. But if you want to divide, see whether you can simplify, in its simplest form. You can express in its simplest form. Then after that, if you have, a surd at the denominator, you have to rationalize. To rationalize means to get rid of the radical. So after that, then you can just simplify further. So if you understand, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till I see you in the next video. Thank you.